8,
You're watching The
7,
Experience Comic Culture and
6,
Sales.
5,
Streaming live daily to
4,
Facebook, YouTube,
3,
Twitch, and Twitter.
2, 1.
Hey, welcome in, everyone. You are watching the Geek Chat on The Experience. I'm Rich.
I'm Des.
Des, you have no background today.
I'm home today.
You're home today? No
I'm home
traveling
today.
around the...
No traveling the multiverse, no.
Oh, well.
No,
So
I'm
you're
home.
good. You're watching us on The Experience. Be sure to like, subscribe, share. You can find us on YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, Twitch, TikTok. Head to Facebook for The Geek Chat. And then go to comicshoppingexperience.com. Sign up on the mailing list.
Hi, Lorena.
And, hey, Lorena, you can also see what's on because The Experience has shows on every day. Some are sale shows, some are shows like ours. You never know what you'll find.
Hi, Paul.
Hey, Paul.
Yeah. Also, wanted to say, as always, we will be giving a variant cover away. Yay! This week's is a I can never remember his first name.
Russell Dodderman.
Yes, Russell Dodderman of XMen.
Trading card variant.
The trading card variant.
Love it.
And how you win is you just have to type in hashtag EXPTGC variant. And remember, you can only enter if you're watching on YouTube, Facebook, or Twitch. This is because the other platforms don't have that yet. So if you want to win this fantastic variant, please put into the chat hashtag lowercase EXP, uppercase TGC, and then the word variant, all lowercase, VARIANT. Also, want to let you know that I got some information from the powers that be up on high, way above my pay grade. And it is true, you can only win once a month, but technically it's only once every 30 days. So unfortunately, Kenneth, because you won last week, you are not eligible to win again for another 30 days. So that's how we'll be going. That's how it will be going. So 30 days from when you won, you can't win again. So
can I join?
No, you're a host. You can't win. Sorry.
Can Coog?
Coog cannot win either. Neither can Paul. So sorry.
Can my dog?
Ruby can. Yeah.
Oh, cool. Rube, you're gonna do it.
Yeah, Rubes can. Rubes
okay,
definitely
good.
can. Yes, Experience definitely says don't ask us. Only lawyers know, and that is true. You know, this is something that the lawyer said. Also, I think it's really great because it gives a lot of different people the chance to win these fantastic variants that we have the ability to get for you all. So again, post. It's on the screen right now. Post that into the chat. We will be reminding you in the future. So please. Well, it'll always be that from now on. Experience TGC variant. So if you're a longtime watcher, just write it down somewhere on your computer. You know, on the screen in a Sharpie. You know, that way when you watch this, you already have it. So
it's just there.
Just there, personally.
It's just there.
So also one thing to remind everyone.
Hey, Jabroni Chief.
Hi, Jabroni Chief. We're all comic book fans, and one of the best days is coming, and that is Free Comic Book Day, and that is this Saturday. I think it's the 4th. So yeah, I think
yes, it's May the 4th be with you.
So it's May the 4th be
yes.
with you, as well as Free Comic Book Day. So go to your local comic book store, check out the free comics. There's a free comic for X-Men, there's a free comic for Star Wars, of course. Free comics up the wazoo for a whole bunch of comics that you probably never even heard of, but you might be interested in. Also, while you're there, please take a moment to actually buy something from these retailers. The retailers do pay to have these free comics for you. So please, pick it up. Oh my God. Pick up some comics. Wow, I did not know that the Experience shops at Pulp Fiction Comics in Culver City. I have been there a bunch of times. Fantastic place. Love it to death. Fantastic comic book store. Highly recommended if you are in the Culver City or LA area to go and check it out. They are fantastic. Have really great deals on graphic novels as well as used comics. Fantastic place. The staff is great too. So yeah, that's all the announcements I have for now. We will definitely be talking about this a little bit later after the break. But first, we need to talk about TVs, movies, and news. So,
Hold on.
What's up?
Thank you, Lorena, for noticing my Stitch Venom shirt. I
Yeah.
love this shirt. Yes.
Yes.
What a great mashup.
Yeah, and you can't win that shirt, unfortunately. You wouldn't want either. You wouldn't want it anyway. It's covered in hair. So anyway, Section 1, TV, movies, and news. X-Men 97, Episode 8. We're here. Tolerance equals extinction. Rich, what were your thoughts?
So my dumbass stayed up till midnight. For the last 3, I was like, no, because every morning I wake up, every Wednesday morning I wake up and I go to Twitter. It's filled with spoilers.
Yep.
So I was like, all right, you know what? Screw it. So I'm usually supposed to be in bed a little after midnight because I get up at like 6:30 to go to work. I stayed up and I was exhausted yesterday, but it was worth it because I got to see it while everyone else was sleeping. I just had to do it. It wasn't an episode 5 level, but it packed a lot into that episode, like a lot into that episode.
Yeah.
I think that it's Stitch being venomized, by the way, experience. I do. That's what I think. Yeah. So Magneto ends up, I've always said it, Magneto was right. The Valerie Cooper. Some people
race trader.
Still think she is a Mystique. I was hoping we'd get that, but we didn't. But she did say the words, you know, Magneto was right. Interesting that Roberto's mom betrayed her son and Jubilee. That was a little crazy. Bo DeMeo, the writer that was let go, he did say that the in the diner and one man's worth, the episodes from season 4 that you were supposed to watch before this, that is Bastion's parents.
They changed it a little bit from the Siege Perilous.
Yep.
But
and then we meet her again as a Prime Sentinel.
Yep.
So
crazy. Yeah. I mean, it wasn't that it wasn't a level 5 type of thing. It just was the opening salvo in order to set the stage for the next 2 episodes. I think was what has happened. Because if you notice, that first episode in most series is the attack from the villains. It's when all the heroes are chaos. It's all disjointed. They're all separated. You know, that gives them, because it's the chaos and they don't know what's happening. That's the opportune time to strike, and that's what Bastion did. Him with Mr. Sinister, they struck, and we got to see little bits of how each set of X-Men were caught off guard. We're dealing with each of them, and I thought it was really a lot of fun.
The Wolverine Nightcrawler choreography in that scene just was brilliant. The way Wolverine saw how Nightcrawler teleports, and we as viewers witnessed it.
Yeah,
that was something.
Yeah, being pulled and then deposited someplace else. Fantastic visuals. All of Nightcrawler's movements, his fighting, him with the swords, his tail, all of that. Beautiful. It's
comic book.
Animation.
It is comic book realness brought to life.
Yeah, when Wolverine was coming down and he was slashing them up as he was coming down, finally got to see Wolverine do some Wolverine type shit, and I'm happy. I was loving it. I was loving it the whole time. I was just like, yes, this is the Wolverine we need. Yes, this is the Wolverine that we love right here. The 2 of them together was crazy. Fantastic. And the Summers, the
family trip, the family road trip
was fantastic. That was great.
Yeah.
And the whole thing with the fucking with the Porsche was great. You know, Scott was driving that whip like a crazy man. You know, Jean was doing her stuff, and I was like, all right, you know, I still think that Jean has not had her magical girl moment.
Yeah.
I need to see it. I need to see it. I need to feel it. I need to be there. I need it to happen. Yeah, everything that happened in that episode was great. And I really thought that Magneto doing the EMP pulse at the center, at the North Pole, and affecting the magnetic spectrum across the whole globe was fantastic, showing his power. And I think they're going to have to talk Magneto down off of a ledge, you know. And why was he in the black Speedo? I don't know why. I mean, I guess there's metal fibers in clothing, maybe. I don't know. But yeah, I was not sure why he was in the black Speedo. Yeah, definitely just a little eye candy. Just a little eye candy. I was like, wow, okay.
And then all the Marvel cameos.
Oh yeah, the Marvel cameos were fantastic.
We got Spider-Man. Everyone's been wanting Spider-Man. He's there.
Spider-Man. Maybe we'll get a Spider-Man comic. Doom was there, but Doom was like, look, you know, we are not, you know, just we understand what you're doing, but just because we're not doing nothing doesn't mean that we're working with you. And I was like, okay, you know, Doom is like Doom. And
Silver Samurai.
And then we saw
Omega Red,
and we saw Baron Zemo, which I thought was fantastic. I wasn't expecting to see Baron Zemo, but that just makes sense because of the Thunderbirds movie that's coming out.
Thunderbird.
The Thunderbolts. Thunderbolts movie, sorry. Yes, it's coming out. So yeah, and who was the woman they were talking to? Do you think that was Thunderbolts? Yes. Do you think that was Valentina, the woman they were talking to? Because she was in the shadow, and I don't know who that woman was that Bastion was talking to.
Could it be Nova? Cassandra?
No, because she had hair.
Oh yeah.
And I thought that's why I think it's, you know, of course, if they're gonna try to pull a little bit from the MCU, we might have seen that might be, you know, the
Contessa?
Contessa. So maybe it is, maybe it's not. You know, I do love my my kind of, you know, shadow mystery type of characters, but I enjoyed it. I really enjoyed the ending when you know who is back. So yeah, he's back right in time to help talk Magneto down from his craziness that he's about to unleash upon the world. To me, my X-Men. I was like, he should have said to me, my X-Men. And when Storm popped up, I was like, you got some extensions, girl. I see it. I see you. I see you, Queen. To the school.
Yeah, the last two episodes are just going to be bananas. I know it.
Really like it. I think it's going to be great to see Cable coming back. I think to see Bishop coming back. I don't know what's going to happen. I really hope that they don't turn Bishop into a villain. I don't know, but there's a reason why Bishop is not with him. They got lost in the time stream. What does that mean?
Mm-hmm.
You know, where was Cable raised? Was he raised in the Ashanti? You know, did Ashanti raise him and teach him how to sing R&B? Who knows? There's just, and they would drop these little lines like that in the show. Hi, Barlord. They would drop, you know, these little hints about things that happened, and I'm like, oh, you're just gonna drop that, and then, you know,
go, yeah. I'm
like, can we have a little conversation about what that meant or what?
Nope, not yet.
Nope. So I'm excited. I'm here to see what's going on. Like in the Bastion, showing the reports that he might be bringing an alien race, that Charles Xavier might be bringing an alien race.
Yeah,
all those little Easter eggs and stuff is just fantastic. You know, the show is fantastic, and I really hope that we don't have to wait a long time for the next one.
I know.
So
So I just want to say, we had our final episode of The Bad Batch.
Mhm.
It debuted on Disney on Wednesday. There's no picture for it. I just wanted to mention that the Star Wars universe has ended in that little corner of space. The Bad Batch was a very well done cartoon. If you've been watching me for many, many years, you know I don't think children, like I hate when children are in Transformers and they bring along children. I'm not a fan of that. But having Omega, you have no clue what I'm talking about either, Des. Having Omega as the center part and the heart for the Bad Batch, these clones. In the beginning of the series, I was like, why? But it all wrapped up. I think the ending, they did it as a 51-minute special. It just exploded. Like the ending happened and it was finished. But much in the rich history of Star Wars, the fight never ends. So, spoiler alert, at the end, Omega we see as a grown-up, and now she's on her way to fight with the rebellion. And it's kind of like I'm afraid we're never going to see these characters again, which is a shame. But it was really, really, really good to watch The Bad Batch this season. The next one starts on the 4th, and it is they're mini shorts, I think. It's about the Sith, I believe. But yeah, so the little Star Wars, one chapter is ending, another one starts on May 4th. And yeah.
Well, maybe we'll see them in human form and on celluloid. You never know.
Maybe.
If it was good, you might use. And I think that's one of the cool things about giant continuities or giant things that are in animation and in video games and
yes,
in,
Lorena, it was
stuff like that. I think it's really cool that you would get to see possibly them in the background or something.
Oh, so. we have a new viewer. Hello to
Dominic.
Dominic, yes.
Yeah, thank you, Dominic. So I want to say one thing.
Yes.
So the show that I don't know if you watched it or not, Fallout. I watched it.
Yet.
I watched it. It is fantastic. If you have played the game, it doesn't matter. But Fallout on Amazon Prime has been great as well. It's one of the most faithful adaptations since The Last of Us to a video game franchise. It's really good.
Oh,
yes,
wow.
And it is not a retelling of any of the Fallout games. It is its own story that takes place both in the past, before the drop bombs fell in 2077, and in the future, 200 and I want to say 19 years in the future. So it is great. It really captures the lore and the setting of the Fallout universe, and really, makes it feel really, really like faithful to what's come before. And I loved it. Yeah. Paul and I watched it, and even though Paul has never played the game, he understood what was going on and loved it. And then it made it better because now you could go on.
Oh, we lost your volume. So but Mike, welcome in. You says worth a watch, folks, too. So maybe we'll start watching this. But we're watching Dead Boy Detectives on Netflix.
Oh, I haven't started watching that yet. I have to start watching it.
It's something. It's good. I ordered the book. They did a compendium of both first trades. So I just ordered that from Penguin to find out how faithful that is to the book.
Yeah. Paul read them, some of them, but I kind of want to see that now. That's a Neil Gaiman.
Yes, and
book.
They bridge the two seasons by bringing in. You're very welcome, Paul. By bringing in a character from the Sandman.
Oh, cool.
And so, Experience, is your roommate raving about Dead Boy Detectives or Fallout?
Or
and
both.
Yes, Lorena, we are on episode 5, I think. Yeah.
Dead Boys. Cool. All right, cool.
Yeah, there's a lot out there if you're a comic book or even
Yeah.
an animation fan. We also
Yeah.
started, and I know this isn't new, but Coog and I started watching My Hero Academia.
Really? You're
Yes,
watching an anime?
we did. We started it.
I'm very
We
surprised.
watched not One Piece. Was One Piece the one with the boy that?
Could stretch his arms.
Yeah,
Yeah, that's
yeah.
One
We
Piece.
watched that too.
Yeah.
We watched
Now,
the live action, not the animated.
now you're gonna be watching Naruto and all that, huh?
Maybe, who knows?
Who knows?
I will say that My Hero Academia the animation is sometimes a little out there.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's
Yeah. Anime can be very, very out there, but it's fun. I mean,
it is fun.
Seriously, if you could watch My Adventures of Superman, then you can watch anime.
Which we will be talking about next week,
starts,
right?
Yep. When it starts up again, we're gonna be watching it. We love it. It's great.
Hey, why don't you mention the giveaway?
Oh, yeah. So we're giving away another comic, another variant comic. Yeah, it's the XMen 34.
Yep.
This one
Russell
on your screen
Dodderman.
right now. Yeah, Russell Dodderman. I can never say that last name, Russell Dodderman. But we're giving it away. Post hashtag EXPTGC variant as it is on your screen. Type it exactly the way it is. So
it takes 10 years.
Could you imagine? Yes. Could you imagine reading it? It's like over 100 volumes. It's crazy.
What?
Yeah. Like I tried to read. I started reading Naruto, and I got I had to stop because there's just so many, and they put these out weekly. It's bananas. And so I started that, and then I started reading. It was Naruto, and I was like, oh my god. I started reading My Hero Academia, and I had to put it down. There's just too much. Manga is crazy right now. The only one that I actually finished, the only two mangas that I actually finished were Ranma 1/2. Fantastic manga. Really, really worth it. I'll have to tell you about it when we have a little bit of time. We'll have a whole segment in a couple weeks about manga and ones that I think you should read. Fantastic. Beautiful manga. And then Blade of the Immortal, which was done by Dark Horse. The other one was done by Viz Comics, and the second one was done by Dark Horse or Studio Prometheus at the beginning. But fantastic. Definitely
was it My Hero Academia that you were getting from us, and you were like, I gotta stop?
I guess.
Was that the reason why? I thought you didn't like it anymore.
No. It was
like, nope, I gotta stop.
No, because seriously, I don't have any room. I look at my shelf, I have no room for manga. You can't even see my manga section on the other side. It's bananas. I can't. So before we go to break, wanted to talk about one thing that Rich made me watch. So we are going to talk about it real quick, and that is Crisis on Infinite Worlds, the movie that came out on Max. It's animated. So why did you want me to watch this?
Because it was new. And it's animated, and it's DC, and it's what we do. It was not very good, and it was funny. So y'all probably, some of you might not know, but we're actually friends, and we text each other a lot. And
we've friends for a long time.
Paul said the same thing I said. When you look at the two animation styles, wow, X-Men 97 just. I don't understand why they chose this animation style.
You know what? The animation style I was fine with. I didn't like the story.
Oh, I don't like either.
So the story, I don't know why they needed to change the story. I don't know why they felt they needed to update it. It all centers around the Flash.
Yep.
And how the Flash, for some reason, is in this time loop. Now, because if you know the original Crisis on Infinite Earths, you know that the Flash was the one that destroyed the Anti-Monitor's machine that was actually producing the wave. So that's what happened in the comic. And in this one, they devise a plan that takes the Flash's ability to vibrate really fast, that things pass through them, and they built it on these Earths that were, I guess, strategically placed. So that it would affect all these other Earths in a chain. So they had to build, these towers that would, in effect, vibrate the Earths and all the other Earths attached to them. So that way, when the antimatter wave passed by them, they would be passed by unharmed. Okay, you with me? but something happens, and the wave, realizes what's happening, or so we think, and it moves faster than it's supposed to. So the Flash has to stop time. He literally um phases out of time and space, and him and Iris, it's about him and Iris, because he keeps jumping into different ports in his life,
And
uh
different Earths.
and different Earths. So him and Iris, because they ran out of time to create the tower, so he stopped time with him and Iris, and they spent all of the rest of their life building the tower. And then at the end, Iris dies, and then Barry goes in and does the treadmill, and then starts time back up, and then runs, and they do it, and they save the day, right? And then, but then they haven't even mentioned the Anti-Monitor. They haven't mentioned anything like that. And there's all these different collection of heroes from the multiverse working together to do all this, and so they do it. And now it's in like 3 parts, I guess. I don't even know why it's 3 parts, but so now the next one is going to be, I'm assuming they introduced the Anti-Monitor because the Flash didn't die. He was transported someplace else because of he was not supposed to do what he was supposed to do. This entropy thing was supposed to happen. It was the way it was supposed to happen. So they changed the story at its fundamental level. And I don't know why they needed to do it, because it was so perfect in its originality. So maybe they decided that they didn't want to change it and do their own thing, but then they dedicated it to George Perez at the end. But this is not totally George Perez's story and his thing. So
so Barlord, it was very convoluted. So the first 20 to 25 minutes,
it's about a Mazo.
And you're like, and the only thing you see is the Flash running back and forth between these worlds,
being pulled.
Yeah, and then you get the Crime Syndicate, which I love. I've always loved the Crime Syndicate. But the different storylines don't really make sense, because then the Harbinger comes and brings all these heroes. My favorite part of the movie was naming all the heroes.
Yes, and the big group scene was great. Robin, the older Robin meeting Bruce, and then Helena the Huntress meeting Earth 2, Helena meeting Earth 1 Batman. That was really great. So those little character moments were fantastic.
But as a whole, it was hard to watch. It was very hard to watch.
Hi, Kenneth.
Hey, Kenneth.
It was because like whenever I watch something, especially when I'm going to do a review about it, I'm saying, okay, this is not the source material.
Correct.
This is its own thing.
Nope.
And I say, can I divorce myself from this? And if I can, and it stands on its own 2 feet, perfect. Good movie. I like it. I recommend it. This one, it didn't. It seemed like the stuff that they didn't make any sense as to why they needed to do it in the first place. Because if they'd have changed it enough and then really made it stand on its own 2 feet, then I could be like, okay, this is great. This didn't do it, and they made some unnecessary, like the whole thing with Earth 3, the Evil League, and just the Mazo stuff, and then he used the Mazo at the end, but I don't understand why he needed to use a Mazo. They didn't explain it. It's just his head. It was just stuff like that. Like it left more questions than answers.
And so did you read Barlord? I agree. Sometimes writers, I don't know, this writer I had never heard of before. I don't know why he chose to craft this weird story around when the original was very straightforward. It was very straightforward. Yeah. Hey, this guy is coming. He wants to destroy the worlds. Blah, blah, blah. We need to stop him.
Yeah.
Things happen.
And I can understand if you're going to take the original story and you chop off things that seem to be a little bit erroneous or more than necessary. Totally fine if you need to tell a more streamlined story.
Right.
But this one was just not it, DC. And I'm worried that it's just going to be more of the same when they introduce the Anti-Monitor, because we haven't even seen Superboy yet, or anything, even if we're going to see Superboy.
Right.
So I have no idea. I really have no idea what's going on.
I just want to say real quick,
watch it.
It was last week. One of our savers was picking up, and he was all excited because he just bought volume 2. And he's like, oh, have you watched volume 1 yet? And I was like, yeah, we watched it last night. And he goes, oh, did you like it? And I was like, no, not really. But I'm really loving X-Men 97. And he goes, oh, I haven't started that yet. I was like, well, you should.
Yeah, that's much more bang for your buck.
Yes.
So. Anyway,
right.
hi, Kenneth. Good to see you. But on that note, we're gonna take our first commercial break and
be right back.
Right back.
In a world where you hit like and subscribe on our YouTube channel, that'd be really great. Thanks.
Ask your local comic shop to add Battle Quest comics to your pull list today. You love comic books. You collect comic books. But even if you own a rare, expensive issue, it's still a copy. How would you like to own a piece of comic book history? The actual art pages the comics were made from? Oh no, you say. That's too expensive. Regular people can't afford that stuff. Can they? Nick Ferrucci says yes. Join the founder of Dynamite Entertainment for the original art experience on YouTube, Twitch, or Facebook. Incredible art at almost unbelievable prices. Does he have some high-dollar pieces for the high rollers? Sure, but Nick always makes sure to find amazing pieces priced for the fledgling collector. You can collect original comic art. The original art experience. Fridays at 7 p.m. Eastern. Part of the experience.
Hey everyone, welcome back. You are watching the Geek Chat on the Experience. I'm Rich.
I'm Dez.
And welcome again to the Experience. It is a great channel for you to watch a lot of shows. There's some sales shows where you can buy comic books and buy original art. There's shows like us where we talk about comic books. You can head to comicshoppingexperience.com to find out what's on when and sign up for the mailing list, and they will send you a lot of great stuff. I don't know how much they spam you though, so probably not a lot.
I don't think so.
I don't think so.
Also, if you're just tuning in, we are running a giveaway as we do in every show for the time being. We're going to be giving away Russell Dodman.
Hey, you got it!
Yay! Variant cover for X-Men 34. All you have to do is type in the experience, hashtag experience.
Well, no, it's just X.
Yeah, it's that thing right there that's on your screen. Type that into the chat. Please know that you can only win once every 30 days. So if you've won once already, you got to wait 30 days before you can win again. So again, that's what our lawyers tell us that we have to do, to make it fair for everybody in charge. So please, put it in so you can win. Thank you. Please. I'm swimming in variants. Just kidding. Anyway, having said that, this episode is chock full of number ones. We have a ton of number ones to get to. I'm very surprised that Rich wanted to do this many number ones, but Rich is super crazy like that, so we're gonna do a ton of them. Rich made a request. There are no X titles in this in this episode.
So
None. I put an X title on there, and he was like, "Nope," and I'm
Nope.
like, "Oh, okay."
nope. I was asked by one of our great
Jonathan.
viewers. He says to me, "Do you think you can have one episode where you're not talking about X books?" And I was like, "No, that's our shtick. I love the X-Men." And then I went, "Yeah, I haven't been liking them so much. Let's just read some number ones."
Yeah, there's a ton of number ones that have come out, and
Hello, Jonathan.
yeah, hello, Jonathan. One of the things we are going to do next week is we're going to review, do some quick takes on some of the free comic books that came
Yep.
out. Remember, this Saturday is Free Comic Book Day at your local comic book store. Please, 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 please go to your local comic book store this weekend, this Saturday, the 4th. May the 4th be with you, and pick up some free comic books. And while you're there, please support your local comic book store. Buy some comics, buy a trade. Buy something you don't normally read. There's tons of number ones. One of these number ones just might be what you're looking for. So, having said that, the first one up is Robo Force number 1. Oh, yeah. I'll let you start with this one because you're like a straight up, 1880s kid. So you probably loved this from your toy collecting days, right?
I ended up getting the action figure variant, and
I don't remember them. I really don't remember them at all.
So let's get this out of the way first, shall we? The writer was Melissa Flores. The pencils and inks. This is my first complaint, people.
Sorry, Barlord.
Sorry, Barlord. You're not going to hear anything about that either today. Diogenes Neves, pages 1 through 5. Julio, Brilha, pages 6 through 10 and 16. Marcelo Di Chiara, pages 12, 14, and 15. And Elton Tomasi, pages 13, 17 through 22. If you have watched us for any show, if you need more than one artist on a book,
something's wrong.
Something's wrong. Something is wrong with your publishing schedule if you need to have 4 artists and the first one does 5 pages.
Yep. I don't, and I think maybe they ran out of time. Maybe they needed another, because a lot of times I think what happens is so okay, in their defense, the book, the art styles are very, very similar. And it's weird because you can only see differences in certain things, but the one thing that I think that really worked for the book, even though there's this many artists, is that the look of the book is consistent. And I thought that was one of the things I was going for it.
Yes.
But whenever you have this many artists, it either means you either are running out of time, or you have to push something to you have to push it to get it out to meet the deadline or the schedule. And if that's the case, maybe, just maybe, you needed to hold off on releasing your line,
Right,
because it doesn't look good. It's not a good look.
So when the Nacelle Nacelleverse 0 came out, I talked about their publishing schedule and how as a retailer, this schedule's abysmal.
Yeah.
So the idea is Robo Force 1 through 3 is April, May, June, and then we get Biker Mice from Mars, July, August, September, Sectars, October, November, December, and Power Lords, January, February, March. That just says we are going to rush, Robo Force 1 was definitely rushed out.
Yeah.
My hope is that by the time we get to Sectors and Power Lords, the 2 I really want to read, it's one artist and it is hopefully a little bit better. Well,
the one thing that I kind of wonder is if these are their house artists, because they kind of did the same thing with their Nacelleverse number 1, in which they had a bunch of different artists, and that worked in that one because I thought these were the artists that were going to be taking over. But
I did too.
But what if this is how they're doing it? Like, what if they just have a stable of artists and they all kind of have that style, and that's the way that they're doing it?
Well, the weird thing is when you look and they show you the cover for Robo Force 2, the only 2 names on it is the writer and the Diogenes Neves.
Okay, so maybe maybe they needed to get this one out, and he needed help with it before he got his quote unquote groove back. I mean, maybe, I don't know.
Well,
But
Barlord, we're not even up to the story yet, so I don't know. You might want to hold off on thinking that.
and that's the thing. Like the one thing going for it is the artwork. I think the artwork is pretty solid. Like it wasn't terrible. It's just the story was a little hit or miss.
So they introduced it was a getting to know you issue,
but I didn't know the world. I don't know the world that they're living in.
None of us do, and I don't think this was a good way of introducing it by introducing all these characters who were built a long time ago to be heroes,
and then they were made obsolete almost immediately. So
yeah, and like one's a garbage person, one's a plumber. Why do they have their names on them? Like there's a lot of design choices in this book.
Well, maybe that's how they were in the. See, the thing is, because it's off of a toy license,
toy line, yes.
Maybe that's how it was on the toys,
and it's totally 80s to do that.
Yeah, and I think that's probably what it was. Is even though it is an 80s property, they took it for face value and did not update the premise. I think that might have been because they didn't want to change it so much that people wouldn't understand it or think or capture that nostalgia that nostalgia bait that they wanted to. So that's why it looks kind of hokey. Like they look kind of hokey, They
really do. And also, I really thought it was going to be Robo Force. I really thought it was going to be more bots fighting bots. I did not realize, I guess, that it was thrown into this weird humanistic world.
Yeah. I didn't see any other robots, and there was a woman who built them, but she is trying to build something else,
so that they're better.
So that they're better. And it seems like the guy on the front, the main character, was destined for greatness, and this is his chance to find it. So it is a hero's journey kind of thing, but it's just like I have no idea. Like, I don't know really who the villains are. I don't really know. Right. There's no
clear objective to this book yet.
Yeah. There's
except
no
for the very end where they got to go get her thing back. I mean,
yeah, but who are they getting it back from? I know they were like cyber pirates, but I don't know. It just didn't seem. It seemed kind of rushed. We gotta get to here to get to A to get to B. But there was no fleshing out of these characters besides their name, their occupation, and then this guy in the center, the guy in the middle, talking about how he should be better, their lives should be better,
Yeah.
And that was kind of it. So it just left me kind of flat, is all I'm saying.
Well, I'm gonna read the number 2. I mean, there's only 3 issues, but I don't know about this one. I don't know here's the truth. Not knowing anything, if I was in the comic book store and I saw this cover. Which it's Dustin Weaver. It's a gorgeous cover.
Oh yeah, I think he did all the covers, I think.
But if I saw that and I saw this robots on top of robots, I would think robots fighting robots. I don't know. I would imagine something a little bit more action.
Yeah.
That's my take of Robo Force number 1. My take is it is very aimless. Yes.
Yeah, Barlord. You're right, Barlord. It gives you It gives you a story that you've seen countless times before. Something is stolen. It's a fetch quest. Something is stolen. We got to go get it back. But the people that they've assigned to the task are just not very interesting.
Nope.
So.
Nope.
But yeah, that's one. Hey, you might want to pick it up. You might not. It's pick it up in a sale. Now this next one is Barbaric, Born in Blood, number 1. It is a sequel to the first Barbaric.
Well, there's been a couple. There's been a couple.
I didn't realize that either, but
yes.
But it's an ongoing thing about this guy. Go ahead.
Owen. So it's not ongoing in the way that we as comic book fans traditionally think of the word ongoing. Ongoing series are a thing of the past. You will never, ever, ever hit a high number ever again. The way they published, no.
Yeah, well, look at Savage Dragon.
No.
Look at Spawn. all these old timers.
That is very true, but they are continuing series. I'm saying right now, anything that has a number 1 on it will never see past
50.
50 is being very generous.
Yeah, 40 maybe.
But Vault understands this. So Vault
Oh.
has been putting out Barbaric, and there are 3 to 4 issues, and it continues the story. And much like this did, it gives you a recap page, letting a reader know what's going on. And
So I'm glad I'm still glad that you said that, because I knew nothing about this comic, and I thought,
love
okay,
it. Oh, I love this.
So I picked it up and I started reading that first 2 pages
With the axe.
the recap. So I'm thinking, when I'm reading this, and I'm like, what's this exposition dump? Like, what is going on with this? And then at the end, I flip the page, this end of recap. I'm like, oh, okay, that was because I totally thought that, like, are we really having this much recap and this much exposition right now? Like, I'm okay with it, but I was like, damn, that's not even, like, it was just so blatant. But now I'm thinking, okay, that's for a purpose, that's for a reason,
right?
If you're jumping on at this point, you know what's going on. I'm like, great.
I miss Marvel doing that.
Yes.
I love that Marvel used to put a recap page.
Yeah, but this one was great though, because it was actually them in the world talking about it, and then it was self-referential.
The axe was hungover and he didn't remember anything.
Yeah, and I thought that was kind of a clever way to do it.
Okay, let me get this out of the way. The writer is Michael Morrissey. The artist is Nathan Gooden. The colorist was Fabiano Marquez, and the letterer was Jim Campbell.
Yeah.
I remember picking up the first issue of Barbaric and just loving it. It was just the main guy and his axe on just this tear. It was amazing.
So he has a curse.
Yes, he's cursed.
Yeah, the axe, he has to kill. It says it right in the front. He has to do a certain thing before the axe he will be free as a barbarian, and I'm like, okay, we have a set thing. He's got his thing. It's a quest he has to do. Fine. And then they have a magic user. Okay, she's female. They have a vampire who's sort of like Sabretooth / Wolverine, and
he's new. He was added in the last. So every series has introduced something new.
Yeah.
To this world.
Mm-hmm.
And we are yet introduced again. This time we're learning about his past.
Yeah, and I think that was his brother at the end who he has to kill, because
he's got to fight now.
Yeah, because at the end they were given they're tormented by their sins, and it's like his brother is coming back to have to kill him. Yeah, the story is bombastic, meaning it is really in your face. I get a lot of like Rat Queens kind of feel for it, Skull Crushers, this really kind of dark fantasy, very adult content, and in the way in which the violence is very, and the swearing. So it's a very adult comic, and I kind of like that. And I think this is, it's weird, and maybe it's the art, but I compare it to Deathstalker from last week's episode. This was like Deathstalkers, but done better, because it was much more of a concise story, and it felt like it knew where it was going, and I felt like I knew where it was going as I was reading it. Not that I was like, by the numbers type of situation, but it was just more entertaining.
I love the art. I love this art.
Fantastic. I was very surprised, because like you never know, and I think a lot of the times people who read comic books, are attracted to art. It is a visual medium.
Well, yes.
And sometimes, if you get a really good artist, you got to stick with them. I mean, just look at Ryan Otley and Invincible. I don't think Invincible would be nearly as good without Ryan Otley as the penciler. And I think Barbaric is the same way.
I say go pick this book up.
It really was fun.
go and get this book. If you're out Saturday for some free comics and you see this on the shelf, pick it up because you will not be disappointed.
Yeah, and then just know that it's an adult story, and if you like this book, then maybe you can get the first trade to see where it all began. I honestly think that I am. It's weird, and I think the axe. I like the axe because it comes off like Deadpool, but it's not as obnoxious as Deadpool. It's a little bit more like, you know, you got to feed the axe blood. You know, you have to feed the.
And
axe.
he doesn't like brains.
Yeah, the axe does not like brains.
Yes, he doesn't like the taste of brains.
But I think, if you're gonna pick up a comic this week, if you're going in for Free Comic Book Day, definitely try Barbaric. I think you might like it if you're not already reading it. The next book we're gonna do is The Whisper Queen. And this is by, on the front, Chip Zdarsky and Chris Anka. And you can do the other two.
So the
I think that's the inker.
Matt Wilson was the color art. The letter art is Hassan Atzmain El Hua.
Oh yeah, so Chris Anka did the line art, meaning he did the inking as well. He inked himself.
Yeah,
that's cool.
And the B cover that I got, but it's damaged unfortunately, was done by Fiona Staples. I love her art.
I didn't see that one.
Yeah,
so I didn't see it.
Right there.
That's great. Okay, so this is another adult comic, and if you're a fan of Chip Zdarsky, just know that he does not shy away from the explicit with sex and with sex. There's not a lot of cursing in it. It's just the visuals. Like there's an orgy. There's an orgy.
There's a 2-page spread that shows everything.
People. Yeah, that's an orgy, and you're like kind of like, okay, you know, so it is not for children. Unless you allow your children to see that stuff. Yeah, you're a parent, do what you want to do. But basically what it is set in a fantasy world. Imagine, you know, D&D. They kind of look like elves and tieflings and dwarves or halflings. So you kind of get that kind of magical fantasy. You get a beautiful shot of what the continent looks like and the various different kingdoms on it. And it starts off with the king is dead, you know, and the woman on the cover on the left, it was his royal assassin, and she was thrown into jail from something that happened. And she escapes, and I think her journey now is to find out what happened to the king. And the two women next to her are her you know, her comrades in arms. You know?
So the one sitting is her age.
Yep.
And she's a witch, and the big one standing there is her daughter, is the woman sitting's daughter.
Yeah.
And
she's like a barbarian type of character, war fighter type character.
And they're out to find the assassin's son.
Yeah.
Who she doesn't want killed.
Yes, because the king, or the one in charge, has sent out the Dark Whisper in order to kill them in retaliation. So she has to find out why before. So of course I think it's a really fun story. The artwork by Chris Anka is fantastic. If he did a fantastic job with his XMen books, and I'm always here for Chip Zdarsky's storytelling when it's his own creations. I think sometimes he can get a bit long in the tooth when he's working on an established title like Daredevil or Batman and stuff like that. Some of the stuff kind of like can get a bit long in the tooth, but when he's focused on a thing that he really enjoys, in a book that he's done, he really shines.
Yeah. And I want to say, if you are fans of Saga, or you already mentioned the Rat Queens, then you'd want to pick this up. Yeah, pick this up on Saturday. It was a good read. It was interesting. I do want to get to this next book though. I really do, before we leave.
Oh, wow. Really?
I do.
Okay. So we're going to talk about Bear, Pirate, Viking, Queen #1. I'll let you start.
So first off, it is done by just 2 people. Well, 3 people. It was created by Sean Lewis, who did the writing, and the art and letters were done by Jonathan Marks Baravecchia. So yeah, there were 2 people on this book. I had zero clue what to think of this book. The cover, I was like, this is kind of cool. I like this. And you had got it So Kook said that you had asked for this one, and I was like, oh, all right. Well, then let's read it. Because originally, guys, this was not on our reading list. This and the Whisper Queen were added at the last minute, right? Was this one of the ones I added?
Yeah, this one and Whisper Queen.
Yes. And I was like, okay, let's see. So you open it up. This is not a traditional comic by any means. And I loved it. You did not, I see. I thought the art is very much, I think his name was Muth. Do you remember the Havoc and Wolverine Cry Havoc miniseries?
Oh, wow. Yeah. Yeah.
It's also part Bill Sienkiewicz.
And it's got a little bit of Mac in it.
It's got a little bit of, oh my God, what is his name?
Ashley
Wood. Ashley Wood. Yes, I thought of that today. I enjoyed this book visually. When you think of a comic book being, and we already said it earlier, Des said, comics are a visual medium. This book was just making my eyes, I can't say the word I wanted to say, very, very, very happy. That's what. And basically the first issue is about the bear, the pirate, and the Viking. So I'm very excited to get to the number 2 to see the Queen. I got to know what you thought, because I've said a lot of praise, and you're like, I hated this book.
It's not that I hated it. It's not what I expected it would be.
Oh, okay. But not knowing what you thought it would be, you still.
Oh yeah, I'm one of those people where I have read comics for a very long time. And I know myself, like when I was younger, I could not stand Bill Sienkiewicz.
Oh my God. When that first New Mutants, his issue came, I went to my comic book store and I said, take this off my pull list.
Couldn't stand it.
As an adult, I got them all in back issues and I went, this art is fantastic.
So, but then I'll never forget, I read Elektra Assassin and I was hooked. And then I went, and it, like our taste buds, as you get older, you evolve and your tastes evolve. I didn't like Paul Pope for a very long time, and then just started to hit. Same thing with a lot of books. So for this one though, it took all of that stuff, and the difference between an artist like Bill Sienkiewicz is his ability to do that abstraction to the point where it serves the story and is its own feast for the eyes. Okay? He knows that restraint, just enough restraint that you still have the form and it still has that impact. This artist is not there yet. And I think that's the big thing for me, is there were some pages that were just way too muddy for my eyes to follow. And then you put in the dialogue bubbles and the dialogue to try to set the mood, but I couldn't read some of the dialogue, and it made it hard for me to stay invested in the story when, one, the artwork is so quote unquote artistic that it's hard for you to follow the story, and two, when the lettering is fighting your eyes. That was the problem that I had. Some of the pages were absolutely gorgeous. That last page where the Viking kills the pirate and the bear, there were certain aspects that were just beautiful, but there were some that I literally had no idea what was going on. So again, your mileage may vary.
Yeah.
If you are a fan of Sienkiewicz, if you're a fan of
Muth,
if you're a fan of Ashley Wood, then try it out. You might like it. And for what you're getting, you get a lot of art. There's a lot in this book for what you're paying for. $4.99, and you get a ton of pages. Of pages.
I just want to say, I thought lettering on some of the pages worked immensely. When he first saw, and it was the
Some of it did.
oh God, and it
Some of it
spread
did.
along the bottom. I say if you want something that is completely the opposite of a Marvel DC comic,
Yeah.
I would say pick this book up because again, you have to like a certain art style. If you are a fan of traditional comics, if you are a fan of Arthur Adams, Nick, what is his name?
Bradshaw.
Nick Bradshaw. If you're a fan of any
Terry
kind
Dodson,
of
anything that's really, really stylized, traditional,
don't pick this up. If
Yeah.
you like experimental art and a
Very-
really crazy story,
in abstraction.
oh my God, I loved this. I loved this book so much. I am going to be seeing what this artist has done.
Again, it's not that it's bad. It's just that I had a hard time reading it. So, and just because of that. So I'm not saying it's bad, just I had a hard time reading it. And your mileage may vary. So please check it out. These are new number ones. If you have the money, check it out. And on that, we're going to take our last commercial break, and we'll be right back with our final segment.
Download our app on Google Play and the App Store. It's so simple, even my mommy can use it.
Something is speaking to you. Just at the edge of your perception. Your senses fill with visions of vortices. Slowly drawing you to one thundering epiphany.
360 Comics! 360 Comics!
The universe is telling you to shop with 360 Comics. Joe's got amazing stock from high dollar to $5 books from Silver Age to modern, CGC, variant covers, and more. 360 Comics every Wednesday at 9 Eastern, part of The Experience.
Hey everyone, welcome back. You are watching the Geek Chat on The Experience. I'm Rich.
I'm Des.
So I just want to let everyone know that you just saw Tuesday's lineup in the commercials, but on Thursday we have a great lineup full of some amazing shows. Bright and early, 8 a.m., we have Jam Comics. A couple really great guys. They got some great comic books for you. Then we got the Dan Wickline show. He goes over the newest news and stuffs in comic books. You've got What's in the Box with Miss Jen. She's always got some kind of great deals. Today she had a nice run of Art Germ covers for you. And then there's us. And then following us is Sketch Up with Mog and Mel. And today their guest is Ben Dunn of Warrior Nun and Ninja High School fame.
Yes.
Yeah. The Dan, oh my God, stop that. Dan Wickline show is a whole bunch of different topics. You never know what he's going to cover.
Yes. Also, Ben Dunn, fantastic. Been a huge fan of his for a very long time. I might check it out as well. Yeah, please check it out. Fantastic. I've read all of the Ninja High School stuff. Yeah, fantastic.
So why don't you tell them about our giveaway, and then we'll get into these next couple of number ones.
Sure. So, as always, for the time being at least, we'll be giving away this beautiful variant by Russell Dobson.
Dodderman.
Lick line, Dodderman. It doesn't matter.
I know.
So we'll be giving that away. Please put in, if you haven't already, please put in hashtag EXPTGC variant as you see it on your screen. Please note that you can only enter if you are watching on YouTube, Facebook, or Twitch. And note that you can only win once per 30 days. So yeah, that's our giveaway. Hopefully in the future we'll be getting some even cooler variants. We do this, for all of y'all, just to say thank you for taking the time to chop it up with us for once a week for 90 minutes. We love it. Fantastic. I want to give you a quick shout out real quick to Space Ghost #1.
I haven't got mine yet.
Yeah.
We were going to review that today, next week, hopefully.
Okay, #1, fantastic book. We might talk about this in more next week. He hasn't got his yet. I got mine. I got this cover. It's fantastic. I wanted to get the Jay Lee cover, but they didn't have it. I am a huge Space Ghost fan. It was really fun. I was not paid by Diamond to say this. I know Diamond is a contributor to the experience, so I'll let you know this is my own views about it.
Dynamite,
yeah. What I say, Dynamo?
Diamond.
Sorry, Dynamite. We don't talk about Diamond here. Anyway, was really good. Jason Jan, it's just great. I mean, he's basically Space Batman, but it doesn't matter. Really great. This is definitely a character that I'd love to write for in the future. Hint, hint. Anyway, back to our books that we're going to talk about. Toxic Summer #1, right here. Toxic Summer #1. It was done by Derek Charm. It was written, illustrated, and colored by Derek Charm. Lettered by Frank.
Yeah, good luck with that.
Chetkovic.
Chetkovic.
Yeah, Chetkovic.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, let me first tell you why I wanted to review this. I knew nothing about this book. We ordered it. It is a gay
teen romp.
So I was like, okay, let's try it. Oh my God.
Really?
You liked it?
I actually did.
Oh my God.
I actually did.
Yes, Preston, it is Bill and Ted Meet the Toxic Avenger while hoping to be hot lifeguards and meet lots of hot men.
Hot boys this
hot
summer.
Boys.
But it's like imagine Creature from the Black Lagoon and Summer Beach Party Massacre. It's the whole thing is about these two guys, friends, go to this grandma's house in this seaside town, and it's summer and they're supposed to be happy, but unbeknownst to them, toxic waste, has been put into the ocean, and the whole beach has been closed down. Yet, it's a summer place, and so all these other kids show up and they're bored and they have nothing to do, and so they're trying to find something to do. And there's this old guy they're basically cleaning off the beach, this toxic waste. I don't know where the EPA is. Because I don't think they would let blue-haired gay children clean up a toxic waste hazard on the beach, but this is America, so maybe, I don't know. So they have to clean it up, right? And while they're cleaning up one night, they see an old guy in the water, and they go and save him because they're lifeguards. They save him, they bring in him, but his eyes are glowing, freaking out, right? What's going on? But an ambulance picks him up immediately and takes him away. The kids are stinky because they had this toxic waste on them. Spray him down, and they, of course, summer loving. They meet a guy. They meet a guy that they think is cute, and they're like, nothing worse than bored. That is exactly it. That's basically what the story is.
It really is.
They're bored, and so they're going to hook up on the beach. But then a monster, a slime monster, kind of comes out. Kind of looks like the slime monster from Godzilla, versus the slime monster, green slime kind of thing. So it's got that kind of 50s kind of silliness to it. See, I thought the artwork was great. I thought the story was silly. It's just it was just a fun little campy story. That's the monster so far. It's fun. It's campy. It's silly. It didn't take
Maybe
itself
that's
very
why I
seriously
hated
at
it.
all. Why? What were you expecting?
I
Look
don't
at the
know.
cover. What were you expecting in the cover?
I don't know, but
were you expecting toxic? Were we expecting some trauma type stuff in which to be like?
I really don't know what I was expecting when I opened this up. The inside looked like a Scooby-Doo cartoon to me.
That's what he's going for. He has that. He has that sort of American manga style.
Okay, so much like in the last segment with Bear, Viking, Pirate, Queen, whatever. I really enjoyed that style. This style was a little too
safe.
Archie comics meets Scooby-Doo. For me, and don't get me wrong, I love a good Archie book. I read all the Archie horror books that are out.
Horror books, see? Horror books, because those books, their art style is much more, it's much more horrified than the traditional Archie books. Like I get it. Like I get it. It was much too cartoony, much too happy joy for you. I get it.
That is exactly.
But I thought the story was fun. Like I want to see. Like I really hope that this monster turns out to be a nice person, and they have to help it. And it's really silly stuff. I just thought it was silly, and like the grandma was fun.
The grandma was fun. Being the sexy grandma, I like that.
And the weird tonic she made to stop them from stinking, gave them 3rd-degree burns almost because it basically filleted the first part of their skin. Like stuff. It was funny. I could see it definitely being like I definitely could see it being like a CW show. Maybe that's why you didn't like it. Anyway, we're moving on to what was one of the biggest comics this week, and that was Marvel's newest crossover, Blood Hunt. Now, there was also a red band version of this, which was polybagged, and it contains even more blood and graphic, and people get pulled apart. And I just read this main one, and I got the extra one because I'm willing to pay $1 more for some extra entrails. I guess I don't know. Oh, you got the red band? Mm-hmm. I got the red band one. And how was the red band? Again, I didn't get the original one, so I have no idea what to expect from it. The funny thing about it is, like, I read comics. I've read comics for so long that I didn't even realize if I can't. Because unless I have the original one to look at, and I probably will look at scans or something, I couldn't tell you what was red band and what wasn't. Because if you read Siege and you read when the Sentry ripped Apollo in half, or Ares in half, that was in a normal comic book, right? Right. This stuff, there was nothing. I mean, there was some stuff like that. Someone does get cut. Okay, we talk about spoilers. So someone does get cut in half, but it's not nearly as graphic as what Olivia Coppola did when he showed Sentry ripping Ares apart. Like that. So it wasn't, nothing in the book was that shocking to me. And the retailers, so I belong to a couple retailer boards, they also were saying the red band was just like a normal comic. It had nothing in it that wasn't in one of their normal comics that are rated PG-13 or whatever their ratings are for Marvel. So I just want to say, Preston, yes. I also expect a meddling suit to come out. Oh, no, I was saying the one before about complaining about those meddling kids. If it ends that way, please tell me, because I'll be like, no. You're not going to read the next one? No! Okay, fine. Hell no. Okay, so... So, Barlord, this is the only book that you read, and you went for the red... My man, there you go. That's what you do. Or my friend. I don't know if you're... I don't know what your gender is. So, but yeah, the small details, they showed a little bit more gore, I guess. Yeah, I'm going to open one up. We have one. I was just like, so here's the thing, guys. Who asked for this? Who they were in this big writing room and they're like, so what do you want to do for our next event? We haven't had vampires in a while. We haven't had vampires in a while. So the writer was Jed McKay. He is their Marvel's big new writer. The art, though, let me tell you, Pepe Larraz, he's an amazing artist. Man can do no wrong. He's amazing. The color artist, Marte Gracia, she's been doing comics. She's
amazing. And the letter was VC's Corey Pettit. And that cover was done by Pepe Larraz.
It's fantastic. Like, I thought if anything, the artwork was killing it. Literally, the artwork was beautiful.
It was slaying it.
It was beautiful. I thought it was great. So in a nutshell, all the dark power users have detonated. Dark Force users have detonated. So that's Dark Star, that's Cloak,
Blackout,
Dagger, Blackout. All of them literally exploded, and they're it's cute. It's like these two little legs, and like from their waist up is just like dark magic energy flying out of them, and it's enough to block out the sun, which allows all of the vampires to come out and do a surgical strike and start basically widespread kill move, and they're trying to kill everyone and change everyone into vampires. What's his name? Blade says, "Hey, I got some information. I need you to beam me up." They beam him up.
To the Avengers Living City.
Yeah. Trap. The elite vampires come out, and they don't eat just blood. Some of them eat magic, and some of them eat science, and some of them eat this other stuff. Okay, their designs, fantastic. I thought the designs for those vampire evil ones were really cool. Very cool vampires. But of course, they end up taking down Thor. They take down T'Challa. And you knew they were going to take down T'Challa because he's getting his own vampire series in which he has to fight being a vampire or something. So they take down a couple of Avengers. Avengers, bounce out, and then Blade goes to Doctor Strange and sees what Doctor Strange is up to. But it turns out that Blade is the leader of this cabal of vampires of what's going on. So Blade is now a bad guy, and he chops Doctor Strange in half in front of Clea. So two things I want to say. Yes, Barlord, I don't read Moon Knight or Blade, and I was like, I don't know what's going on. Yes, and I think you're right, because I read so every now and then I'll pick up a comic just to see what's going on. So I picked up the Moon Knight you're talking about, and all this stuff has been leading up in Moonlight, and it's been leading up in Blade. And I read a couple of Blades, so I know a little bit of what's going on, but I don't know enough to see where he turned or did all this. So depending on how invested I get in the story, I might go back and read it if there's not a good enough recap of what's happening and why it's happening like this. And that's why you saw Tigra and Moon Brother, or the other the other guy that's in the Moon Knight series. I can't remember his name. So yeah, there is a little backstory that you need. So for those people that were reading Vengeance of Moon Knight or Blade, fantastic. This is your payoff. I hope it's great. But I don't know if it's going to pull me in enough to go back and read those books to see what's going on.
I also want to say, I have to agree with Preston. How come Cloak and Dagger started out, and I wouldn't say they were A-list, because they were never A-list, but they have a lot of potential. And Cloak was also got screwed in the XMen run when wasn't he and Dagger turned into part techno?
Yeah, and they had to fight Nightcrawler.
Yeah, and then Amazing Nightcrawler, whatever that was called, Amazing Spider-Man, whatever it's called.
Yeah.
So yes, Cloak is always getting the shaft on all these books.
And wasn't he the one in the one story where he was like the one keeping everything at bay, where he was up in the sky? Oh yeah. They do him dirty every event. He gets done dirty. So,
my review of this book is this: the Avengers have become such. I'm trying to think of the word I can use while on a platform like this.
Punching bags?
Wimps. Thank you.
Thanks, Kook.
They have become, Thor has become such a, I don't know. The Avengers crew of right now is not what you would expect Earth's mightiest Avengers to be.
Oh, and
at
what?
all.
Yeah, and they needed to get rid of Sam Wilson because they needed to get rid of the symbol of America, the symbol of Black people, the symbol of what? Like I didn't get the symbolism of him, T'Challa, saying they couldn't have uh Captain Sam Wilson. I'm
Right.
like,
And then
so
you have a woman on your team who literally
Oh,
has
Wanda.
the death hole, death.
Death
What's
Hole.
that book called?
Yeah, you're right.
In her.
She
In
ate
her
it.
own book, she is much more powerful. In this, she's taken down like this. This is what I don't like. Darkhold,
Yeah,
thank you
Darkhold.
so much.
Thank you.
They have, and then of course you have everyone's favorite. I'm kidding, Captain Marvel, who is supposed to be the strongest of strong, most powerful of powerful people in the Marvel universe. She gets taken out. I'm sorry.
Remember, they were surprised though.
Oh, come on.
They were surprised.
No.
Again, you always do that. You always have to do that. It's the first salvo. Remember what I said earlier? Whenever they start one of the, it's like dominoes. You always have to surprise the superheroes. You have the Havoc. They have to regroup and be triumphant. It's a story staple as old as time. It's a structure as old as time.
I know.
You know, and they just don't want to go away from that.
It's just ridiculous. Coog on his way out says to me, who would win in a fight between Thor and Howard the Duck? In the new Marvel universe, Howard the Duck would beat Thor. I mean, that's just how Marvel is writing their top tier powerful characters. They're writing them in such a way that they can be taken down.
You know what, Barlord, you're right. You know, he says, as soon as I hear a solid team will be on that book, I'll try again. Every time I've tried Avengers, it hasn't been able to hold me exactly the same way.
They're not Earth's mightiest heroes anymore.
And I tried Jason Aaron's run for quite a long time, but I think he got lost in the weeds with his run for a very long time. And they haven't really got anyone on there that really can write a strong narrative for them. If they're supposed to be the world's strongest heroes, they need to have the world's strongest threats, and they need to actually stand up to them. You know, and I think that's what makes this even sadder. Like, I can understand what happened to Doctor Strange. He didn't expect Blade to chop him in half. That's fine. But this thing with the Avengers and how easy they were taken down. Okay, you know, you could say they were surprised. Okay, each of them were uniquely there in order to counter one of them, and they stuck to that plan. Okay. But come on, the Avengers has got to have like a fail-safe, a way to escape, a way to regroup, something. It just seemed like it was so dire and it didn't need to be. Granted, though, artwork was killer, pun intended, and I thought the designs were great. The artwork looked fantastic. It's just the story was weak. That's the only problem. I will be picking up number 2. I will read the whole thing because I want to see, if anything, just for Pepe Larraz's art. But I really hope that it starts to ramp up, or we get something good, because right now this ain't it.
No. And we reviewed every single gang war that came out, but we have decided, and I'm very sorry everyone, we will not be reviewing every new number 1 that is coming out of Blood Hunt, because there's too many.
Oh yeah.
There's way too many. Marvel is making this the giant event for at least 4 months. Yeah, it's at least 5 months.
Yeah, it's the summer. It's the summer event,
and I can't do that. I just can't. And yeah,
I mean, there might be 1 or 2 that we might, if we really like it, we might.
Like next week, I want to read, because next week is the Blood Hunters. So I want to let everyone know, if you haven't read this, if you go to your comic book store this Saturday, May 4th. You will be able to pick up the first couple pages, because unfortunately, Marvel's publishing plan kind of got wonky. The Free Comic Book Day has the first 4 or 5 pages out of this, and then it has a brand new X-Men story focusing on Gail Simone X-Men. Well, Marvel put out the Blood Hunt number 1 the full Wednesday before the Free Comic Book Day came out. So if you didn't pick it up and you're curious, you can pick it up, see the artwork, see what we're talking about. Yeah, Barlord, I got to be honest, that many tie-ins is that, yeah, something's wrong when you got to pack that much story into this, and I don't feel like it warrants it. I
No.
just don't. So just JD, can you just show the last two books I want to show everyone? We were going to review Get Fury, and of course there's a movie coming out. So Deadpool, Wolverine, World War III. World War III. It was done by the artist was Kubert, one of the Kuberts, and I got the Liefeld cover, but what? I love Liefeld. Leave me alone. Joe Kelly was the writer. Adam Kubert did the art, and for that I say I enjoyed it. I hate that Wolverine always hates Deadpool. That is getting annoying. They have been working together for the last freaking couple of decades. Get over it. I am over the way of writing that they write the animosity between the two. And then, what did you think of it? Real quick. And then the last book we were going to read was
the
Get
no feed
Fury.
cover. It's exactly what it is. It's exactly what it is. I did not like that.
Get Fury was written by
Garth Ennis.
So writer Garth Ennis. The penciler was Jason Burrows. This book was very, very, very interesting in that it is a Max book, so it did swear, it did say some what people would find offensive because it was set in that era.
It's set in Vietnam.
Yep. So
and basically, I'll explain this one because I actually kind of liked it. So it was Frank Castle in Vietnam is sent to kill Nick Fury because he has been captured behind enemy lines, and the government is worried that he will succumb to torture and give up informational secrets. So he has to deploy behind enemy lines in like Laos or Cambodia. I cannot remember, in Vietnam, basically, and find him and then shoot him. So that's the story. That literally is the story. And it gets a little crazy at the end because of Garth Ennis. He likes to be that character, that guy. And if you like Garth Ennis's writing, then you'll like this book. It's very real world. It's very steeped in, Vietnam
history.
And and if you like that, then you'll like this book. And if you like there's not that much hyper violence in this book.
Well, at the end,
towards the end there is, but yeah. If
and
you
that's
like
the funny thing. This book is a Max, and it has the really graphic blood coming out of it.
They dismember someone really brutally, and I'm like, wow, okay.
Yes, where there is no red band, this is just the book. And that's what I think it's funny that Marvel had to put out a polybagged red band violent version when, like you said, they've done other stuff in their books. So those were the last two books, and no, I'm just gonna say to the experience, we better not get any more vampire X-Men. Jubilee was enough, and I hated that. So on that note,
yes, Barlord, Get Fury was pretty good. I really liked it. It's one of those no nonsense stories. If you're talking about this one, I don't know if you're talking about the World War, Deadpool and Wolverine World War I. I mean, that's for me, that was just a straight up money grab. And if you like, but that's the thing. Like if you it was entertaining.
They spent money on the artist.
It's Wolverine versus Deadpool with a solid artist. Like
the art was great.
Yeah, if you like it, then by all means. It was just kind of egregious. And if you like that, more power to you.
And yes, Barlord was talking about Get Fury.
Oh, but yeah, it was really good. I really enjoyed it. And Garth Ennis is very hit or miss for me. I read all of his Punisher run, and so with him and Gary Frank, and I thought that was just some of the best Punisher stories I've ever read. And then to see him on this, I was like, okay, I'll try it. And it's good. He doesn't go in for a lot of heady dialogue. It's just, these
straight
people
up
doing their stuff. And it's very, I don't know, it's very grounded. And I like that. So, all right, everybody, it is time. I'm going to give you one more minute. If you have not already posted the hashtag into your comment sections on either YouTube, Facebook, or Twitch, do it now. You got 1 minute. And then you could win this fantastic Russell Dauterman. Yay! Dauterman cover for X-Men 34, a book we did not talk about today.
We were gonna, but guess what? It's an X book, and it's an X book. Okay.
I wanted to. The reason why I wanted to is because of the cover. I wish I'd give you the original cover. The original cover, it looked like Forge was wearing Caliban, or I don't know. That is Caliban?
Yeah, he wore Caliban for a while. He needed to hunt someone down in the vault.
Oh, because
so
Caliban.
He wore Caliban. And then Caliban shows up in the book, and I'm like, what the?
I didn't read it. So like, I was like, why the hell is he wearing Caliban? Is that a new?
Nope, it was Caliban.
Okay. All right,
let's spin that wheel.
Let's spin that wheel. The wheel of variance. Dun, 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 dun.
Who's it gonna be? Who's it gonna be?
Jonathan Tan. Yay, Jonathan. Thank you so much.
Thanks everyone for watching.
Jonathan,
is that a bear butt?
You'll be getting a
Is that a polar bear butt?
I think it is. It's the hindquarters of a polar bear. So Jonathan, awesome. Please fill out the form. To the form that was put into the chat. Fill that information out, please, and then I will be sending you your variant cover. Thank you so much, everyone, for tuning in. Please note that we will be doing another variant giveaway next week on that show. This coming Saturday, Free Comic Book Day. Please go and support your local comic book store. Spend some money, grab some comics. And yeah, thank you all for joining us. We love having you here. We love chopping it up with you guys. We do this all for you because I can't just talk to Rich. I got to talk to more people about comics. I love talking to him, don't get it wrong, but I gotta talk to other people too. So
thank you, Lorena. It was a great show. Thanks everyone for joining us. Remember, Sketch Up with Mog and Mel is in a half hour right here on The Experience. Their guest is, what's his name? Ben Dunn of Warrior Nun and Ninja High School at
7 o'clock. So please check him out.
7 o'clock.
All right, everybody. Have a great week. See you next week. Bye.